Hey, it's Giselle.
Hey, it's Joanna.
Hey, it's Jordan. And if you're looking for the dopest podcast with tips on how to be a millennial boss, make sure you tune into the Millenni-HER podcast.
You are now tuned in to Millenni-HER. The Millenni-HER. You are now tuned in to Millenni-HER podcast.
Rhythm on the instrumental.
Millenni-HER. You are now tuned in to Millenni-HER podcast. Tuned in to Millenni-HER. Tuned in to Millenni-HER podcast.
What up? Good. We're back for episode 2. 99 Problems. Is virtual learning one?
That's what we're talking about today. There's been a lot going on this past year with the pandemic. It's still going on. And we wanted to just give a moment for those who are at home, who are listening, dealing with the pandemic still with at-home teaching, or if you're an essential worker, virtually teaching now. Everybody's been affected by virtuality realm of some sorts, whether you're on a Zoom meeting, whether, you're talking to your doctor via WebEx,
or whether you're doing social happy hours. Everything has turned virtually. But I personally wanted to ask you your opinion on it, because you're the only person I know whose kids are actually going in school.
Am I?
Yeah. Everyone else is virtual, completely remote. So how...
I'm elite. I got that elite. That money.
So how is that?
It has its ups and downs. Like you said, thankfully my daughters are in school. They've been in school since the summer, but I haven't seen their school. I haven't been inside their school since March or February. They're wearing masks. There's capacities in class. The teachers have to, there's only one teacher assigned per classroom, and then they have to be washed down,
so they're taking the proper precautions.
They're taking the proper precautions, but it definitely takes a toll on a parent like myself who's really involved and invested. Some people are working hard. They can't be as involved as they would like, but for me, I want to be all in. I want to talk about parent-teacher conferences, weekly progress reports, things like that, and that is now been shifted and affected. I can't do it as often as I would like, because I don't want to overwhelm the teachers or the principals at the school. So it definitely is something else. I can't bring snacks, birthday party couldn't be in school how I, had it when I was younger. So, but I'm blessed.
It's the fact that you have grace for the teachers and you understand that.
I understand it to a T. I definitely, like I said, do want to have those one-on-one meetings, etc. But they can only do so much. I can only do so much, but it's definitely affecting. How about you? You're in grad school. What's it like for you?
Yeah, I'm actually getting my master's. This is my final semester, thank God. And transitioning to virtual learning there's some benefits in it, but then also for me who likes in-class learning, it's been a big transition. I easily get distracted. For example, my professor might be lecturing and I'm folding clothes or I feel like the social aspect of it has declined too, because I don't know any of my classmates besides my friends because my camera is always off. So I don't know. It's the benefits. I save gas money, but then again, it's I'm very distracted. So it's it has its pros and it has its cons.
So that's today's topic. It's all about the pandemic. It's all about virtual learning. Is it really a problem? And we definitely wanted to give you the inside track on, what that's like for teaching professionals, for guidance counselors, and people who are really in the thick of things every day. So we are having a special edition today. We're letting them weigh in on these hot topics that are applicable today to today's topic. So let's get it started.
Hot in, so hot in here, sizzling, so hot in. my goodness. I miss that so much. It's been like
Forever. Yes. So, hot topics. Let's get started, Cheryl.
So for today's hot topic, we're talking about the pandemic's effect on educational instruction and the biggest problem on how it's going to affect students 15 years down the line. So, of course, we had to get a panelist that works within the educational system. So I'm going to everyone can introduce themselves. We have 3 lovely ladies here.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, I'll go first. Hi, my name is Joanna. Everyone calls me Joey. My students call me Miss Williams. I am so excited to be here. So first, thank you. I am a special education teacher in Newark, New Jersey for a charter school. I've been teaching in Newark for the past going on 6 years now, all different grades from K through 4. Like I said, my passion is in teaching and it's a growing mind. So this has been such a difference. And I just wanted to say thank you for bringing us here because it's not just going to be good for teachers, but also anyone in the school system, parents, and people who just want to know what's going on. So thank you guys, ladies.
Next, we have Jordan.
Good afternoon. My name is Jordan. I'm a school counselor at an elementary school in Trenton currently. I've also been a counselor at a high school in Camden. I've interned in middle schools in Patterson, so seeing different communities, different age groups, working with a lot of different youth in different capacities. So it's definitely a passion of mine. And this year has been a big change for everyone. So I think this is an awesome opportunity for us to have a platform to explain how that's working and our experiences personally. So thank you for having me tonight. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
And last but not least, we have Giselle.
Hi, I'm Giselle. I'm the awkward counselor, and I'm so excited to be here today. I am a school counselor and a licensed associate counselor. So yes, I work in schools, but I also provide individual or family therapy or couples therapy in a nonprofit setting. And I worked in schools for as long as I can remember. I've also done perform care. So I've come into the homes to help with crisis. I've worked in agencies, and I'm just so excited to be here to contribute and have this conversation with you wonderful ladies.
Well, thank you for that amazing introduction, ladies. Let's get right on into it. So I know we are all I know that you all are teaching from different districts. So everyone's handling it from a different angle, scenario for the greater good. But I did want to know, what's your opinion in broad strokes of how, treatment of it's going? Is it fair? Is it good? Could it be better? Who can weigh in?
Hi. So weighing in on that question, I would say broad, I think it's good. I think it's definitely difficult and it's an adjustment for everyone with how quickly we had to step into this new normal. As far as everyone who's working through it, the parents, the teachers, the students, all the different aspects of who's experienced, this change. I think the students, number one, are just awesome. They're showing up, they're adjusting, and they're making it work. And they're just so patient because this is new for them. Being elementary, they're young students. So they're figuring out, what's going on. So I just think they're doing awesome. Teachers are absolutely phenomenal. This is super difficult for them, and I give them their props because they're on the front line of all of this. So, they're just creative in how they're making this work and their lesson plans. I know it takes a lot of time during the school day, outside the school day, and they're just so committed to making this work. So, and then parents, it's a big adjustment for them if they have multiple children in different grades, just trying to figure out how to navigate at-home schooling. My district specifically is all remote. We're completely virtual. So it's a big adjustment, but I think we're doing good, given the hand we were dealt, doing the best we can until these kids can be prepared.
And okay, so you mentioned the adjustment. I want to know about the parents because, as I said earlier, I'm a parent, mom of twins, and I want to know, because of the massive number of unemployment that's still spiking, what would you say you would ideally want for parents to feel like they have the tools to really be successful, as you mentioned, to be more effective for their kids? You don't have to speak, just speak from the heart.
Ultimately, I want parents to be able, I personally, in dealing with my district, we want parents to feel supported. This is so new for them. Like you said, even with employment, people are working from home, and now they're also helping their children with at-home schooling. So as a district, we just definitely have opened up new lines of communication for parents so they can reach whoever they need to reach at any time. Even as we're working from home, new technologies like Google Numbers, Google Classroom, Zoom. There's so many different platforms we're using just so that parents know they're supported. We're doing everything we can to work with the kids. They have questions, absolutely. As a guidance counselor, I've talked to a lot of parents who are just like, how do I help my child through this? This is a new experience for me. And we walk through it step by step and we figure out solutions. It's a day-by-day process. Every day is different, honestly. But ultimately, you just want parents to feel supported. They're dealing with a lot right now.
So for Joanna, I want to personally ask you, what's being taught these days? Like, what are the lessons that the instructors are most having trouble with when it comes to remote learning?
So again, like we said, we're all from different districts. I teach at a charter school in Newark, and it's not what the subject is. It's really just like trying to keep their attention with each subject, because they're just like in school, there's some kids who really enjoyed math. So they're going to focus in math. There's some students who struggle with reading. They're like, nope, not doing it. So it's like when you are in school, you can say, come on, you can give that tender love. Like, I know you don't like to read, but I can help you. And given that type of one-on-one insurance in that. And we didn't realize how much a touch was, we already didn't touch, we didn't have close in contact with the students, but just knowing hey, it's okay. The fact that we can't do that, a kid now can check out and turn their screen off. And then you're like, hey, we're still in school. And then you're like, no, we're not. And they know that I'm not there to say, come on, let's do it. So it's really the children's interest at hand. To go back off your question of how is it going?
I can imagine.
How real should I keep it? No, I'm
real.
100%. 100%.
This is the outlet.
It's going. Okay. And it's so you hear it on different people's levels. It's going. Some days you leave remote teaching, you're like, yo, I killed it. Like, what? I can do this forever. And then there's other days you leave like, oh. Did I go to school for this? Right. Wait. So we're still trying to teach them things like measurement. And, in my head, I'm like, but do they know what today is? Do they know what the date is going to be? So we're still trying to find that balance of knowing this New Jersey standards that they need to have to make it to the next grade, but also realizing that they actually lost half a year. A lot of these schools ended in March, and we told these kids we were going to be back in 2 weeks, and they haven't seen our faces since. Mm-hmm. We went back for 2 weeks again, and then we closed again. So, yeah.
Okay. And kind of piggyback from my earlier position about support, I want to know I want you to weigh in on resources or any tools for parents or kids, parents for their kids, on how they can gain access to. For example, I remember when stories were covering this about laptops and, all of those things for Google Classroom, kids who don't have Wi-Fi, books for the lesson. So is there any, resources for these kids that they can access that they may not know about?
Or even just tutoring and a student needing extra help. Or I know, Joe, you work specifically with special needs. So your children with IEPs.
So what resources are out there?
Yeah, definitely. So what a lot of things I like to tell my parents is we're a team. And I always say, I'm sorry that I have to ask you to do all this. I say, one, it's so crazy, but Pinterest is such a good outlet to see what a room can look like. And I know, one, that no one living in a mansion, but just understanding that, okay, children are used to a schedule. They're used to this. So they're not used to seeing a TV on all day, So even if you need to cover it with a blanket, cover the toy box with the blanket, not because it's not like they're in trouble, but knowing that, hey, this moment in time, just like mommy or daddy has to go to work and I can't see these things, this is a moment where you need to be completely focused. And when my parents come to me and say, hey, they're not focused, I say, okay, well, what's around the room? What are they looking at? Is it a school environment for them? Are they sitting somewhere? They don't have to need a desk, but are they sitting up? Are they sitting at a table? Are there people in the background? And if they are, do they know that this child is in school and no one should talk? No, there should be not a voice on, so that's one. I know it's not much of a resource, but it's just like how you can set them up, putting them on a schedule. They're used to having breakfast at 8:00, gym at this time, not rolling out the bed and saying, oh, it's time for math, girl. Like, no, you don't do that until you're in college. Like, go put on that uniform, go iron your collar and let's get to school. Right. Just still setting a routine, but resources online. There are so many teachers out here who used to have second jobs like waitressing and doing things because we need the money. Mm-hmm. So really finding those people on there, and because teachers also need a second hustle. So asking someone a college student they also need money. Zoom is the best thing. Everyone now is virtual, so you don't have to show up at a certain time, So you're really saying, just using Joanna, the people you have.
Just so I can confirm, for listeners, you're basically saying that a good resource for tutoring, you would say, is Googling, like how would you, because what you're basically saying is someone to help you. So how can they find, I guess what I'm looking for is someone who maybe
like a certain website that they can
maybe, or, how would you go about doing it? Is it something, like
I would do, so if a certain tutoring, for me, I think because the students are sitting in front of another adult all day, a lot of these games, like there's so many educational games online. I can also send you a list after this that you guys can post. I have so much. I'm going blank, but I have so many tools for even children with special needs that they can use that's online, because you got to think about it. They're just sitting with their teacher. I just sat with my teacher. Now, Ma, you about to make me go to tutoring. I understand that, but maybe giving them type of a game aspect to say like, little, or you. And I know I am saying Googling because these kids use YouTube to look up anything. Yeah. When a kid tell me they don't know how to tie their shoe, I say YouTube it, because you know how to do rope. They like YouTube. I just feel like I don't want parents to come out their pocket when the internet is giving us YouTube everything University. For free.
Yep. Okay.
There's a website called Teacher Pay Teachers, for any parent that's listening. This is where teachers get you might see a lot of your kids' homework from there. This is where we get a lot of our resources, and these are just little worksheets that you can print out, and a lot of these are free. They even have a tab for just free, and you pick the grade level, you pick the topic, and these are worksheets, tangible worksheets that you can print out and have them do. Still have your students or your children do things with a pen and a piece of paper, because yes, we might stay like this, but they still need to learn these foundational skills.
Great, thank you. Essentially, when you mentioned about the environment, setting the kids up, it made me think of this story from last year, where it was this kid. He was 9 years old in Louisiana. He was in his environment, set up on mute, and basically his sibling tripped over a toy BB gun, and then he picked it up, kind of had it in the view of the Zoom or whatever they were using, and ultimately got suspended. Well, what was recommended to get expelled, got suspended for 6 days. It turned into a whole thing. Where is, the environment was his room. Where does that line get drawn between teachers, guidance counselors, professionals, parents, with the kids in their learning environment? Does that exist, Giselle?
That's a really good question, because right now that's what we're trying to find, because we never had to answer these questions before. But in the New Jersey, at least, teachers, school counselors, we are all mandated reporters. So the truth is, we can't decide on our own if that's appropriate or not. We have to make the call, because right now we're learning. Okay. And just like if he brought something to school, we would have to make the call. Even if it was completely unloaded, even if it was ammunition, we have to watch out for the safety of our children.
But in this case, though, I'm playing devil's advocate. In this case, they were saying that, yes, it's in school policy that you're mandated to report it, but because of this unexpected pandemic, you're at home. So again, are you saying that line still is valid even though you're at home, because you're I just want to understand this, because you're at home, you're not in school. Why does this policy kind of fall into that?
I guess my question is, why is there a BB gun around the floor where it can be tripped? Isn't that also making it easy to maybe shoot on its own if you trip on it?
It's a toy
but I do understand what you're saying.
It's a toy BB gun. It's a toy BB gun.
So it's not even
wait. It's a toy BB gun. His sibling tripped over it. He just was picking it up and figuring it out. Now, I know this is probably the first time you're hearing about it, and don't take my tone for I'm coming at you, but I'm very passionate about this right here. So I need to know, again, what is the line? You're not in school. Why is it that you could, should it have gone that far? Can it go that far? Is this what we're looking at for the next couple of months? Do I need to really worry? I mean, it's not even this, though. And then I'll let you finish. It's not even this. It's the whole, like you said, the siblings in the back, people who may not have clothes on.
The mom drinking wine with a wine glass.
Yeah, where's this line? Joy, I know you said you was trying to chime in. Go ahead, ladies. Go ahead. I want to know. I want to know.
No, chiming in, it's pretty much what she's saying, because we can't make that decision. The line is just, we want to make sure the students are safe. That's the bottom line. And so if there's a situation, a BB gun, I don't know if the teacher was like, is it a BB gun? Is it definitely a toy? I mean, she has to take the call to make sure the student is safe. As far as people in the background, I know teachers are very lenient on that, because we cannot control a student's environment. We don't know everything they're dealing with. And a lot of us are sensitive to the fact that there's multi-family homes. There's a lot going on. Like I said, you have kids in multiple grades. But as far as seeing a student, even a toy weapon, that's, as a counselor, like she said, mandated reporter. Let's say we see something just suspicious. I mean, doesn't even mean, I don't know why that particular district reached to expulsion and suspension. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's just, confirming with parents, is everything okay? Is the child safe? Okay. Can we just make sure it doesn't happen again? Every district is different, but ultimately we just have to make sure the child is safe.
Okay. So basically, Cheryl, they're saying, listen, they're going to report it regardless. All right, parents, listen up. They're going to do it regardless. So just make sure, like Joanna said, have your school environment all put together so there's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Wait, can I chime in? I hear you. I definitely do. And like Jordan said, we as educators, we can't be judgmental. We know that things happen, but I wrote this on Facebook one time. I said, teachers, we are kind of like the cashiers at the store. When something gets sold out, the customer coming to the cashier like, yo, where's the stuff? Yelling at them. The cashier like, I don't know. I have no control over that. And that's what teachers are. We're like, hey, I don't know. I know that they're like Jordan said, should it have been taken that far to the extreme? I don't know. Like, we probably just made a phone call and said, that's not the safest thing. This is a warning, something like that. But definitely as a teacher, I can only tell you, if it was me and I saw the same thing, I'm definitely making a phone call immediately, because I don't know what it is. And I would feel like if that student was on FaceTime with any adult, then any adult would have stopped what they were doing. It's like, yo, I'm coming over right now because something is wrong, and teachers and educators, we are this people that are supposed to be like the protectors. So we're just trying to do our best, but then we get slack like that. Like, yo, you wow, like y'all did too much. We're like, I'm just trying to help. Like,
it's a large rope to teeter between.
This week's Black-owned business of the week is Brown Box. Brown Box is located in my hometown, Orange, New Jersey. It focuses on everything CBD products, oils, bath bombs, and more. So make sure you support.
But Cheryl, go ahead. Thank you,
So
ladies.
switching gears, the last administration, presidency, we went through a lot with the Trump administration. But thankfully, we have a new administration. Shout out to our VP, Kamala Harris, and our president, Joe Biden. So I wanted to ask you, has politics always played a wavering role in the quality of education in schools? Because I know when Trump was president, he threatened to defund the Department of Education if they implemented anything regarding the 1619 project. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 1619 project, but it was a long project that was developed by Nicole Hannah-Jones from New York Times. And basically, this project focused on reframing the country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of history within the United States. So I just want to ask you, anyone can chime in, like, has politics always played a role in what our kids are actually learning in school?
If I can, I'd love to briefly speak about this. Absolutely. Absolutely. We see direct impacts from when you cut a budget and you decrease our salaries or all teacher salaries. What candidate is going to apply for a job where there is little room for just stability, financial stability in life, and taking care of your family? But also policies, when you talk about No Child Left Behind, when there's such a focus on standardized testing. Right now, at least in New Jersey, their students still need to take the standardized testing. So in the middle of a pandemic, they still have to worry about NJSLA, MAP testing, and all of these things. But we're losing focus on the fact that they need to measure, just like Joanna was saying. They need to learn how to measure on a computer. And we're losing sight of the experiential learning process because we still have to focus on these policies and laws that were created prior to the pandemic. Another thing is we also need to think about the context of, I don't remember what specific state, but in Ohio, this factory was raided and all of these undocumented families were taken away. And then the next day, the children were afraid to go to school because they were afraid of the rest of their families being taken away. What if they were going to be taken away? And this was also a direct consequence of the top trickling down, which is probably the only time I'll ever say that really works. Yes.
Well, I definitely agree with you, Giselle. My opinion on this was as well, like, I've always thought that politics played a part in the education, more so, like you said, to the point where we're not even focusing on the quality of the education. We're focusing on, the bottom dollar, where we can cut, where we can save. And then it's almost always, even before the pandemic, I felt, even back when we were all in school, that, all of a sudden now it's like, gotta get these tests. And, it was like always a matter of factly, like, now let's, see where you really range and scale on A to Z. But I definitely wanted to also switch gears to you, Jordan, because from a guidance counseling perspective, the importance of it goes in your title, guidance. We need you more than ever to guide our children to the promised land. So I definitely want to ask you, how has, because I had it in here that will the roles of guidance counseling evolve, but how has it evolved already? I mean, from what more expansion of what you said earlier, and then also two-part. Do you think there will be a more invested role in your part as far as when it comes to mental health for our kids? Like, what would that look like? Or like you said, you went into a classroom, or you're going into classrooms now. Is that going to become more of a standard thing? That wasn't something I was familiar with. So, what do you think is going to stay? And please touch on mental health as well.
Okay, so the first part of your question is how it's evolved. It's really different. It's more difficult, absolutely. As far as counseling, where when I speak with students, I'm letting them know anything you say in here, unless you're in harm's way, someone else is in harm, is confidential. Now, how does that really happen? You're home. I'm on a computer. Trying to get access to them is different. Whereas in the past, I would go to a classroom and, just pick up a kid, like, come walk with me, let's go talk. Or if they need to just come reach me. Now there's so many middlemen, there's so many different ways they have to try to get to me or for me to try to get to them. So that's made it difficult for me as far as counseling them. I think recently I've more so stepped into an advisor role as far as if I see grades slipping, if I hear from a concerned parent more often, and seeking out to, okay, what can we do in the situation we're in? Being an elementary school counselor, ultimately, I like play therapy. Students respond a lot of in-person games, different activities, stuffed animals, crafts, stuff like that. So now being virtual, all that's out. You know what I mean? I have to find more virtual games. Pinterest, the resource that Joanna brought up, it's just adjusting and just trying to find so many different ways to do it. So every day is a learning process. Also, as far as what is here to stay, mental health. So going into the classrooms right now, it's more so I can get to know my students, see how they're doing in the classroom. I try to go in like low key, my camera off, just to observe them and to see if the teacher needs any backup. But I feel like and they're mostly home with their parents. So that changes things too. As far as elementary coming into school, working with me when they're uncomfortable, if they're sad, their parents aren't there. A lot of them are more comfortable at home. If they're having an issue, their parents are the first ones dealing with it. But I see that the mental health probably will come into play, hopefully the day we go back, because now you're adjusting to coming from that back into school.
Yeah, for sure.
Students are trying to understand what's going on. So now it's like, are we safe? Are we healthy? What's going on? Are we in danger? And I know that's going to be a challenge.
Or even like how Cheryl, we were saying earlier offline, that it was like, okay, now I have this social awkwardness. Like, do I even like people at this point anymore?
Right.
Or even when we were talking offline about like snow days and how like school won't get closed anymore because it's just like, you know what? We're doing virtual learning. So you got to go to class during snow days. So that even that mental health space that you would get, that break, it's like no longer there.
It's done up.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Continue. Go ahead.
So, I mean, even that, like the district tries to be sensitive of that too. This Trenton that I'm in, like we had a snow day and we were told, there's instruction, but try to have a lesson that incorporates them going outside, so they can still get that experience because we know it's different.
Yeah.
And as far as I was saying with elementary school students and the mental health portion, the difference between them and us is we've had 20 something years where this was never a thing. Mm-hmm. As far as kindergartners, first graders, they're thinking like, oh, okay, this is how school is. This is what happens now when I go to first grade. When like this is technically not normal, you know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So like the transition back is going to be like, so what's going on? And for the older kids, just try and help them understand what's going on in general, and how they process it emotionally. It's not easy to them.
Does this now kind of teeter into parental guidance as well? Like I know you said the kids can go to their parents, but what if the parents need somebody to go to? Who's for the parents?
Yeah, what's the resources for the
Right.
parents?
Do you help the parents too, Jor?
That's come up, absolutely. So like
Okay.
I said, like I set up different platforms so they can reach me as well.
Okay.
Because let's say they lost a loved one. Now there's grief counseling, but I can't reach them the way I would in school. So I'm meeting with the student and working with them, but I'm also giving parents resources like, okay, they might encounter this. This is what you can do. If it becomes too much, reach out to me, but ultimately you're with them every day. You're trying to figure out how to navigate this while they're also going through so much themselves. So it's been a lot of like parental education and then just getting information from parents as far as now I can't see the kid every day. I can't speak with them the same way. So it's a lot more parent communication, honestly, because we're working together, we're a team, and now even more so.
Okay, parent listeners and sisters, brothers of parents, utilize your guidance counselor, utilize the teachers. I mean, really be transparent here.
So to switch gears, we've been focusing on K-12, and I'm a college student. Like I told you, I'm getting my master's in social work. And
I ain't going back. I ain't going back.
And Ari, you can even chime in too, because I have my personal opinion on this, but I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that tuition should be reduced since everything is virtual now? And why do you think
it's looking like to be that
for a while?
Yeah, for the foreseeable future.
And why is it important now than any other time? Who do you think benefits more? Is it like the university or the student?
I agree with you. I'm starting my master's in February, and I think it should be, they should reduce the cost for multiple reasons, because we also went to school, not just for education, but we went for networking. We went also me and Shirley went to the same college together also, but I know you can say also that we met a lot of people that if I was to lose my job today, I will hope I can call one of my people and say, hey, is your school open somewhere or somewhere like that? So, it's like you need that networking so you can become a greater adult in life. And I feel like we're not getting that. And I know the school's like, well, we didn't say you were paying for that, but they know that that's why we went there, for that extra bill that we can get. Because nowadays, the stuff that we're learning in there, you're like, I'm real, but that stuff that the communication you get with other people is what you really benefit off of. So yes, and I think the university is more benefiting more than the students, because as it shows them like, oh, see, look, people still coming, people are still paying. And I think adults are starting to lose motivation. Like you said, you folding clothes. I know a lot of people like that. Like I'm nervous already. Like I can't imagine teaching all day and then sitting in front of a computer to another teacher. And oh gosh.
And can you imagine paying thousands of dollars just to fold some clothes?
Just to fold some clothes.
That's a fold.
And answer some emails.
And sit in my house that I'm also paying rent for. So like I can't even use y'all electricity. At least I can, like, I'm paying my bills and y'all bills. No, there is no way I can do that.
And I like the fact that you brought up just the social experience of college.
Yeah.
Because me and Ari met because we're both a part of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Shouts to the Zetas. And like I can't imagine I was very active on campus. I was an RA. So most of the people I know is from like...
I was just active.
My residents, all the clubs that I joined, like you said, I could still reach out to them till today. And now when it comes to virtual learning, my camera's always off. I only know my friends because we're taking the same class together.
So since it's like, so what you're saying is because the social aspect is really done up, curriculum is going to be the same. You can, office hours is virtual. What's really, let's cut the fat. What's really, why do we really need to pay tuition? Anybody disagree? Or is this across the board, ladies, that we believe tuition should be free? Biden, you hear us?
Because we need them student loans gone.
It should be free.
Government, let me tell y'all motherfuckers something.
And student loans forgiven 100%. Because I would love to go to school. Sorry, I'm going to make this about me. But I'd love to go to school. I'd love to be Dr. Fontalvo over here, shaping the minds of all students. But with these loans, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
With these loans and these high cost of college, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that and eat? But anyway, I agree completely. Mm-hmm. College has become an experience, which is why I believe it's also why the cost has become so great and drastically, especially over the last couple of years. So now that we've shown that we can still learn by ourselves, even if it's not successfully 100%, we're not using any other resources. So why are we still contributing financially to the resources we can no longer benefit from?
Because they want to plant flowers around the campus. That's what they're using our tuition for statues.
So they can die in the winter.
Okay. All right. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully President Biden heard us in our initiative. Don't just defer them loans for months. I'm going to need you to immediately forgiven. And while you at it, make tuition free.
Even though we already forgave ourselves mentally.
Debt collector. Who? Sorry. Okay.
Scam likely. But we want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this episode. We really appreciate it. We left with a lot of gems, and I know our listeners are going to leave with a lot of gems. Definitely, we want to keep you on the TMP network. So if we have anything going on, we will definitely reach out to you so that you can support us. And in whichever way that we can support you, please let us know.
Yes. And please, definitely, if you have anything you would like to leave our parent listeners with, or again, with the allies, sister, brother, friend, please, this is your time to share. Give them some affirmation, something. Come on, ladies.
Some words of encouragement.
Keep us going, because, I mean, what is this, January? No, it's February. So, okay, March, April, May, June, 4 more months. Okay, keep us going. What you got?
Okay, I'll start. All right. From a teacher, all parents, anyone, like, we got this. We're a team and we're doing this together. And I want to tell every parent that they say we're on the front line. No, you're on the front line, because you're not only wearing the hat of, I'm still just wearing the hat of a teacher. You're wearing the hat of a teacher, a parent, the guidance counselor, the lunch person, the janitor, the bathroom cleaner. You know, it's like, and we commend y'all and keep on pressing and keep on pushing, and just know that, like, the teachers, we are on y'all side. Like, don't think that we're against you. Don't think that, like, we don't want to help you. It's rough for us too. We have people in our ear that's telling us stuff, but we try and do this, but they want us to do something else. So it's trying to find that balance of keeping our job and still keeping it real. So I love every parent, even if I never taught y'all child, because what y'all doing right now, keeping your kids safe, is a prize all by himself. So y'all got this. And again, thank y'all for having me on.
Okay, ladies.
I guess I'll just go next real quick. Just that it's an experience for everyone. You know, I don't want any parents feeling like she said, we got this. I don't want anyone feeling like a failure, like I'm not doing this right. It's definitely a one day at a time process. And I can say, as a guidance counselor and even talking to other professionals in the education system, it feels like a first year for all of us. Like, you know how we come in like, oh, I have 10 years experience. This is 1 year. We're all coming in brand new newbies. We don't know what's going on, and we're taking it one day at a time, and we could not do it without the parents. They are a huge part in this. I appreciate them, and that communication, use it. If you have a guidance counselor, don't feel like you can't reach out. Don't feel like, oh, I'm bothering them. No, reach out. We're a team. Use us. That is our job, to help you with your children, and you're doing a lot at home, and we're here. We're all going to get through this.
Thanks, Jordan.
Everything they said is absolutely right. Absolutely. Thank you to our parents for continuing to do everything that you do, because I don't know how you guys do it. But I want to also say two things. One, shout out to the parents that are trying to support their children in a language they do not understand. I saw this online and I thought it was the most powerful thing. It's hard for us. And when I speak to my parents and I'm just like, hi, how are you? Oh, in Spanish? Okay, sure. How are they going to help their children in science and things that they probably didn't even get to learn in school? And the other thing is, thank you. I forgot the other thing, so I'm just going to pivot. Thank you for having us on. It was such a great conversation, and I loved having you wonderful ladies to just learn so much more from.
Thank you so much. Don't hang up. We gonna keep y'all on for a bit, but thank you so much for coming on our show, and we appreciate you. And we want to clap for the teacher profession.
Yeah. Because you guys,
give us a second.
Because when we talk about essential workers, we mostly automatically think of people that work in a hospital, but we don't give our teachers enough flowers that they deserve.
So yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll chat soon.
That was such a great episode, and I'm so thankful to the guests because they left us with a lot of gems, because usually we don't know what's going on because we're not teachers. So the fact that we were able to have a teacher, a guidance counselor shed the light about what's actually going on within virtual learning, I feel like a lot of parents can leave with takeaway tips.
And that, with that being said, it's like the resources, I definitely think that we should utilize Newark Board of Education. Their website, .org is a great resource for tutoring. It also, there's a granted program called Parents for Teachers, or Parents to Teachers, and it's a great program for early childhood development. They're definitely going virtual amidst the pandemic, so definitely try to Google that. And visit your local library. The free books are still available, and your local maybe soup kitchens for recipes,
or even Pinterest, like Joanna said.
Yeah, like literally, they're in every Salvation Army. There are a lot of resources, book sections that you can use for your children, like our guests were saying about instruction. So I would just say and leave you with, use your resources, look locally, and Amazon doesn't have everything that you need. Okay, you can get it from within. So yeah. And I think that we're going to have more episodes like this. So if you like this episode, you're going to love what we have in store for you this season. So make sure you tune in next week. Peace.